Have you ever had a day that shook you to your core? A day that changed everything? I'm talking about a day that ripped apart your old ways of thinking and opened your eyes to a new, unshakable truth. That day came for me when I discovered 7 life-changing principles. Principles that shifted my mindset, my actions, and my path forever. Today, I'm sharing these with you. Not because I think you'll benefit someday, but because I know that if you apply them, your life will start to change today. Not tomorrow, today. Let's get serious and let's get to work. Principle number 1, master your emotions. Stop reacting, start responding. Every day, you will face situations that will test your emotional limits. Whether it's an insult, a disagreement, or an unexpected challenge, your first impulse might be to react, perhaps with anger, frustration, or fear. But here's the truth. Reacting is a weakness, and reacting impulsively puts you at the mercy of other people's actions. The key to overcoming these challenges and regaining control over your life lies in mastering your emotions. Mastering your emotions doesn't mean suppressing them or pretending you don't feel anger, sadness, or anxiety. It means recognizing those emotions without letting them rule your actions. It means pausing before you respond, taking a moment to assess the situation, and choosing your next move with intention and control. Emotional mastery is a skill that separates those who lead from those who follow, those who endure from those who crumble. Consider this story. I once found myself in a heated argument at work. A colleague undermined my ideas, dismissing them in front of the team. My immediate response was to fight back, to shout, to defend myself. But in that split second, I realized that reacting impulsively would only escalate the situation. Instead, I took a deep breath and responded with calm. I respect your opinion, but here's why I believe my approach works. By choosing to respond, not react, I kept control of the situation and demonstrated the strength of emotional mastery. This decision wasn't easy. It required deep self-awareness and discipline. But it showed me the power of emotional control. The power to stay calm when others expect you to lose it. The power to lead from a place of strength rather than weakness. When you master your emotions, you're not allowing others to dictate your mood or actions. You're the one in charge. Mastering your emotions also means recognizing what is within your control and what isn't. You can't control the actions or words of others, but you can control how you respond. Life will continue to throw challenges at you. People will criticize you, disappoint you, and test your patience. But each of those challenges is an opportunity to practice emotional mastery, to rise above the noise and focus on what truly matters. One technique I found effective is to pause before reacting. Take a breath. Give yourself a moment to process the situation. Ask yourself, what is my goal in this moment? If you're looking for respect, for peace, for progress, then reacting in anger or frustration will only move you further from your goal. Responding with poise, on the other hand, brings you closer to your desired outcome. Mastering your emotions doesn't make you weak or passive. On the contrary, it makes you stronger, more resilient, and more capable of handling whatever life throws your way. The next time you're faced with a challenge, remember this: you are in control of your response. You have the power to pause, reflect, and choose a reaction that serves your best interests. Don't let your emotions control you. Take charge, respond with strength, and watch how it transforms every aspect of your life. Principle number 2, focus on what you can control. Let go of the rest. In a world that constantly pushes us to react, to change the unchangeable, and to control the uncontrollable, we find ourselves drowning in frustration, stress, and self-doubt. But I am here to tell you this: you have the power to change your life. It's simple. Focus on what you can control and let go of the rest. This is not just a philosophy. This is the bedrock of Stoic wisdom. The key that unlocked my true potential and has driven me to incredible heights. There was a time not long ago when I let the uncontrollable dominate my life. I would wake up every morning feeling overwhelmed, tangled in worries over things outside my grasp. The outcome of my business ventures, the opinions of others, world events, things that I could never influence, yet I obsessed over them daily. I gave them power over my peace of mind. And in return, they stole my energy, my time, my ability to grow. You see, the truth is, life is full of uncontrollable factors. And if we allow them to consume us, we will forever remain at their mercy. It's easy to get caught in this cycle. We spend too much time trying to fix what is broken, fighting against circumstances that are not within our control. Whether it's an argument with a loved one, an unforeseen failure, or societal pressures that seem insurmountable, these events are often beyond our influence, and by trying to control them, we are only setting ourselves up for misery and stagnation. I remember a particular moment in my life when I was faced with a massive obstacle. A business project I had poured my heart and soul into collapsed unexpectedly. I was devastated. My first instinct was to blame the market, the customers, the economy. I spent hours dissecting every single variable, every decision I had made, every chance I could have taken to change the outcome. It was exhausting. The more I obsessed over it, the worse I felt. The more I clung to my desire to control something that was already out of my hands, the further I drifted from finding a solution. Then, at the lowest point, I came across a simple yet powerful principle from Stoicism. Focus only on what you can control. It was like a light bulb went off. I realized that the only thing I could control in that moment was my response, my mindset, and my actions. Not the outcome, not the past decisions, but my next step. I stopped trying to manipulate the situation, and instead, I focused on controlling what I could. My thoughts, my work ethic, my resolve. I let go of everything that didn't serve me. My anxiety about the future, my anger over the situation, my guilt over perceived failures. And I started moving forward. I focused on improving what I could, building my skills, refining my strategy, learning from the experience. Slowly but surely, the energy I had been wasting on the uncontrollable was redirected to the things that mattered most. My personal growth, my productivity, my resilience. It was in that moment that I truly grasped the power of this principle. And once I did, everything changed. The uncontrollable no longer held sway over my thoughts, my decisions, or my life. I realized that focusing on what I could control was like taking the steering wheel of my own destiny. The path ahead became clear, and I no longer felt powerless. I had reclaimed my power. And I want you to feel that same sense of empowerment. Every day, we are faced with choices about where we place our energy. Too many of us waste that energy on things we cannot control. The opinions of others, the things happening around us, the misfortunes we face, all of these are beyond our control. But here's the key. What we can control is our reaction to them. We control our mindset. We control our actions. We control the stories we tell ourselves. When you focus on these, you unlock the door to your own success. Take a moment to reflect on your life. Ask yourself, what am I trying to control that I can't? Maybe it's the people around you, their actions, or the situations that seem out of your hands. Whatever it is, let it go. Let it slip from your grasp. Focus on what you can do next. Focus on how you can respond, how you can learn, how you can grow. I'll tell you this from personal experience. When you stop wasting time fighting against the uncontrollable, you free up energy to create, to innovate, and to push yourself toward new heights. In that space, the world will seem full of possibility. You'll start to recognize opportunities where you once saw only obstacles. Your resilience will increase. Your confidence will soar. Your life will transform. Remember this, you cannot control the winds, but you can adjust your sails. Life will always throw challenges your way, difficult people, unexpected failures, and circumstances beyond your control. But your ability to respond is your superpower. The power lies in how you choose to act in any given moment, not in the external events themselves. So I urge you, starting today, let go of what you cannot control. Focus on what you can. Don't waste another second on things that are not yours to dictate. Reclaim your power. Channel your energy into the things that matter, and watch how your life begins to shift. Principle number 3, set boundaries. Teach people how to treat you. Setting boundaries is not a luxury, it's an absolute necessity. Letting others decide how they treat you without clear lines in the sand is a one-way ticket to self-destruction. You will be drained, taken advantage of, and left feeling frustrated and unimportant. Boundaries are your shield. They protect your time, your energy, your emotions, and your peace of mind. Without them, you will find yourself constantly at the mercy of everyone around you. I didn't always understand the importance of boundaries. For years, I thought that to be liked, respected, or accepted, I had to be available all the time, to put others' needs before mine, to say yes even when it meant compromising my own well-being. I thought I was doing the right thing by being generous and accommodating, but in reality, I was sacrificing my own happiness and self-respect. People were walking all over me, and I was too scared to stand up for myself. Then something shifted. I had a wake-up call that came in the form of burnout. I was overworked, emotionally drained, and mentally exhausted, trying to please everyone around me. The more I gave, the more they took. I reached a breaking point where I realized I could no longer afford to sacrifice myself for the approval of others. I had to take back control, and that's when I learned the true power of boundaries. Boundaries are not walls that keep people out. They are guidelines that communicate to others how you expect to be treated. They are a statement of self-respect, a clear line that says, "This is who I am, and this is how I will allow you to treat me." Setting these boundaries is one of the most powerful things you can do for yourself. I'll tell you this, it's not easy. It wasn't easy for me, and it won't be easy for you either. The first time you set a boundary, it feels uncomfortable. It feels selfish, and you may even feel guilty for asserting yourself. You might fear that people will reject you or stop liking you. But let me be clear, those are the people you don't need in your life. The ones who truly respect you will understand and appreciate your boundaries. They will recognize your self-worth and in turn respect you even more. I remember the first time I truly set a boundary with someone. It was a close friend who had constantly leaned on me for emotional support without ever reciprocating. I had been there for them through thick and thin, always available to listen and offer advice. But when I needed support in return, they were nowhere to be found. I had enough. I was done being their emotional dumping ground. So I sat them down and calmly, yet firmly, explained that I could no longer be there for them if they weren't willing to make the effort to show up for me too. The conversation was difficult, and for a moment, I thought they might pull away. But they didn't. Instead, they respected me more than ever. They apologized for taking me for granted, and we both started showing up more intentionally for each other. That was the moment I realized. Setting boundaries doesn't lead to rejection. It leads to healthier, more meaningful relationships. Boundaries are not just for people in your personal life. They are crucial in your professional life as well. At work, when you allow people to push you past your limits, when you don't say no to tasks that overwhelm you or take you out of your area of expertise, you are essentially saying, "I don't value my own time." But when you set clear expectations for your workload and your role, you earn respect. You teach others how to treat you, and they will either rise to meet you or they will fall away. And that's exactly what you want. You want to surround yourself with people who understand that your time is valuable and who respect your energy. The key to setting boundaries is understanding that they are not a reflection of selfishness, but a reflection of self-respect. When you put yourself first, you're not saying that others don't matter. You're saying that you matter too. Your needs, your time, and your emotional energy are just as important as anyone else's. You deserve to be treated with kindness, consideration, and respect. You deserve relationships that nourish you, not drain you. Setting boundaries is not about pushing people away. It's about creating space for the relationships that truly serve you. Setting boundaries also requires consistency. It's not enough to say no once and expect the world to change. Boundaries are reinforced through action. It's about holding your ground every single time. It's about standing firm in your values and not allowing guilt or fear to sway you. It's about realizing that every time you uphold your boundaries, you are reinforcing your own self-worth. So, what are you willing to tolerate? What are you willing to let slide? What are the things that deep down you know you deserve better than? It's time to take responsibility for your life and start setting boundaries. It's time to teach people how to treat you. When you do this, you will discover a level of respect, freedom, and self-love that you never thought possible. Your life will change, and you will never look back. Remember, the world will treat you exactly how you allow it to. When you respect yourself enough to set boundaries, others will follow your lead. You are worthy of the respect and care you give to others, and setting boundaries is the first step toward claiming it. So don't wait. Start today. Your peace of mind, your happiness, and your future self will thank you. Principle number 4. Take responsibility for everything. You must take responsibility for everything in your life. Your actions, your circumstances, your results, and even the way you react to situations. There's no room for excuses, no time for blame, and certainly no time to point fingers. The moment you shift from blaming external factors to taking ownership of your life, everything changes. This is not just about accepting what happens to you. It's about claiming control over how you respond and how you shape your future. Let me tell you a story about a moment in my life that forever changed the way I viewed responsibility. Several years ago, I found myself in a situation I'd never imagined. My career was on the line, relationships were strained, and my emotional state was a wreck. I had every reason to blame the world for my failures, the economy, a bad boss, an unfair system. But deep down, I knew that these excuses were nothing more than a trap. One night, after a particularly devastating setback, I found myself at a crossroads. I could either keep blaming the world and wallow in my misery, or I could take control of my actions and start making decisions that would turn things around. The truth hit me like a freight train. I was the one who had allowed all of this to happen. I was the one who had let others dictate my emotional state. I was the one who had made decisions that led to this point. It was a sobering realization, but it was also liberating. I couldn't change what had already happened, but I could control my next step. I could decide how I would show up moving forward. It was in that moment of raw truth that I understood what it meant to take responsibility for everything. Not just the good, but also the failures, the pain, the mistakes. Because once you own your circumstances, you own your power. This principle doesn't mean you have to take responsibility for others' actions. What it means is that you take responsibility for how you allow those actions to affect you. If someone disrespects you, it's on you to decide how you'll respond. If life throws you a curveball, it's your responsibility to adjust, adapt, and move forward. No one else is going to do it for you. Life isn't waiting for you to be ready. It demands action now. The world doesn't care about your excuses. It cares about your results. I've seen so many people waste years of their lives waiting for someone else to fix their problems. They blame their circumstances, their upbringing, the people around them, but they never take responsibility for the power they still hold. It's a dangerous place to be in, because the longer you refuse to take responsibility, the longer you remain stuck in a victim mindset. And let me tell you, victims don't rise, they stagnate. You are the one who decides your response to every situation. No one can take that from you. Once you accept that, the world will look completely different. You'll stop waiting for someone to hand you opportunities and start creating them yourself. You'll stop letting failures define you and start using them as stepping stones. This principle isn't about making excuses or justifying your mistakes. It's about owning them and learning from them. It's about taking full accountability for your life and understanding that you are not a passive participant in your story. You are the author. You control the plot. You control the ending. When you take responsibility, you stop waiting for permission to act. You stop being paralyzed by fear or uncertainty. You take immediate action. You stop letting life happen to you. You start making life happen. Every action you take is a direct result of your decision to own your path. This isn't a passive exercise. It's an active, unwavering commitment to show up every day and take full ownership of your journey. Let me leave you with this. You cannot change your past, but you can control your future. You are the captain of your ship, and no storm or setback can take that from you unless you allow it. So take responsibility for your life right now. No excuses, no more delays. If you want change, be the change. Own it, act on it, and start creating the life you've always wanted today. Principle number 5. Embrace failure as feedback. Failure is not a roadblock, it's a stepping stone. It's not an end, it's a beginning. Most people fear failure. They avoid it, they run from it, and they do everything they can to sidestep it. But in reality, failure is one of the most powerful tools at your disposal. When you understand that failure is simply feedback, you will harness its power to fuel your growth and push you to new heights. This is the mind shift that can change everything. I remember a time in my life when failure almost consumed me. I had put everything into a project, a dream that I had poured my heart and soul into. I worked tirelessly, and in the end, it collapsed. The feedback from those around me was harsh, the doubt was overwhelming, and I felt like I had failed not just the project, but myself. The pain was sharp. It was easy to fall into despair, to wonder if it was worth it to try again. But in that moment of darkness, I realized something that changed the entire trajectory of my life. Failure is not defeat. Failure is a lesson. Instead of viewing my failure as the end, I decided to embrace it as feedback. What went wrong? What could I have done differently? Where did I misstep? These questions led me to insights I would have never discovered had I ignored the failure or blamed others. I saw where I had rushed, where I had been too confident, where I had neglected to prepare thoroughly. Most importantly, I saw the areas I could improve. And with that realization, I gained more power than ever before. Now, every time I face a setback, I know it's not a reflection of my worth. It's a reflection of what I can do better. I dive into my failures and pull them apart, piece by piece, to learn from them. This mindset has been a game changer, not only in my career, but in every area of my life. I no longer fear failure. I welcome it. Because every failure, big or small, is an opportunity for growth. If you're serious about achieving your goals, you have to develop this mentality. Failure is inevitable. It will come. But how you respond is what will define you. You can either let failure paralyze you, or you can use it as the fuel to rise higher than you ever thought possible. The choice is yours. One of the most successful figures in history, Thomas Edison, faced thousands of failures before he invented the light bulb. Imagine if he had given up after the first, or the 100th, or the 1,000th failure. We wouldn't have the light bulb today. His secret? He didn't fail. He found 10,000 ways that didn't work. And each time he gained valuable feedback. He understood that failure was part of the process, not the end of the road. You are not your failures. Your failures do not define you unless you let them. Failure is an inevitable part of the journey towards success, and how you handle it will determine your future. Embrace failure. Understand that each misstep is simply a guide, showing you where to improve, what to refine, and how to grow. The road to success is built on lessons learned from failure. When you truly embrace this mindset, you become unstoppable. The pain of failure transforms into the power of resilience, and what once seemed like an obstacle becomes the foundation upon which you build your next triumph. So, the next time you face a failure, don't shrink from it. Don't be afraid of it. Look it squarely in the eyes, learn from it, and move forward with renewed determination. Because failure, when embraced, is not an obstacle. It's the catalyst for success. Principle number 6. Lead by example. Leadership isn't a title. It's a responsibility. It's about actions, not words. If you want to inspire others to follow, to commit, and to achieve greatness, you must first embody the very qualities you seek in them. Leadership isn't about what you say. It's about what you do. The strength of your character, the consistency of your actions, and the integrity with which you lead will determine not just your own success, but the success of everyone who follows you. I was once thrown into a leadership role I wasn't prepared for. A team of individuals, each with their own expectations, their own flaws, their own frustrations, all looking to me for direction. The first thing that became crystal clear to me was that if I didn't set the right example, nothing would change. I could bark orders, tell them what to do, give them lectures, but at the end of the day, actions speak louder than words. If I didn't lead by example, I knew the team would fail. In those early days, I struggled. I was still learning, and I made mistakes, big mistakes. But I quickly realized that I couldn't afford to let those mistakes define me. Instead, I used them as stepping stones to refine my leadership. I made it a point to be the first one in, the last one out. I took responsibility for my own shortcomings, even when it wasn't my fault. I showed up with energy, determination, and a commitment to do the best I could every single day. And as I did that, I noticed something extraordinary happening. The people around me began to mirror those actions. They saw me giving 100%, and they started giving their own. One of the most significant lessons I learned in those early days was that leadership isn't about telling people what to do. It's about showing them how to do it. If you want your team to be accountable, you must hold yourself accountable first. If you want them to show up early, be the first one in. If you want them to take responsibility for their mistakes, be open and honest about your own. You cannot demand something from others that you are not willing to give yourself. A pivotal moment in my journey as a leader came during a particularly tough project. We were facing tight deadlines, and the pressure was unbearable. The team was visibly frustrated, and the temptation to blame others was growing stronger by the minute. But in that moment, I made a conscious choice to take full responsibility for the situation. I walked into the room, stood in front of my team, and said, "I take full ownership of what's happened. This project is on me, and I will do everything in my power to get us back on track. But I need you all to be in this with me." It was a turning point. The shift in energy was palpable. The team stopped looking outward for someone to blame and started focusing inward on how we could solve the problem together. That was the power of leading by example. It wasn't about perfection. It was about ownership, honesty, and resilience. Once I showed my team that I was willing to take responsibility, no matter how difficult, they followed suit. But leading by example goes beyond just accountability. It's about setting the standard for everything you expect. If you want to cultivate a team of hardworking, driven individuals, you must demonstrate that work ethic yourself. If you want to foster a culture of respect and integrity, you must model those values. You can't expect people to give their best if you aren't giving yours. Your example sets the tone for everyone else. At times, leading by example will require sacrifice. It will demand that you give more than you think you have, that you show up when you'd rather stay home, that you keep going even when it feels easier to quit. But if you want to inspire those around you, if you want to be the kind of leader who creates real change, you must live your values, not just speak them. Leadership is earned through action, not through words. The most effective leaders I've encountered in my life are the ones who didn't just dictate. They didn't sit in their corner offices making decisions without ever getting their hands dirty. They were the ones who led by example, who weren't afraid to roll up their sleeves and get involved. They showed up, they worked alongside us, and they demonstrated what commitment, excellence, and integrity looked like. If you truly want to change the world around you, you must first change yourself. Take responsibility for your actions. Show up every day with integrity, commitment, and hard work. Make your example the standard. Lead with courage, humility, and a willingness to learn. When you lead by example, you create a culture of excellence that others can't help but be drawn into. Your actions will speak louder than any words, and the impact you have on those around you will be lasting. Leadership isn't about commanding respect. It's about earning it day by day, action by action. When you lead by example, you create an environment where people want to follow. And when you inspire others to be their best, you create a ripple effect that can change everything. Lead by example, and the respect, loyalty, and results you seek will follow. We have more interesting videos about Stoicism and the way of life. If you want to watch a video about 8 ways to handle people who don't respect you, please click link above in the video. If you like the video, or you don't want to miss further videos about Stoicism, please subscribe. Principle number 7. Practice gratitude. Focus on what you have. Gratitude isn't just an emotion, it's a mindset that shapes your entire approach to life. In today's world, where success is often defined by endless ambition, the Stoic principle of gratitude offers a radical shift in focus. Rather than constantly yearning for what you don't have, gratitude forces you to look at the abundance in your life, at what's already here, right in front of you. It's about recognizing that no matter how much you achieve or how high you climb, contentment will always be grounded in what you already have. I'll tell you a story. There was a time in my life when I was chasing the next milestone with relentless hunger. My career wasn't moving fast enough, I wasn't making enough money, and I wasn't receiving the recognition I thought I deserved. One day I realized that I was consumed by the hunger for more. It was never enough. Then, I experienced something that shifted my entire perspective. A sudden personal loss. This loss hit hard. It shattered my illusions and left me questioning everything. I thought I had it all under control, but in an instant, it all felt irrelevant. That was when I first truly understood the power of gratitude. I didn't need more money or accolades. What I needed was to appreciate what I already had. The people who supported me, the opportunities I had been given, and the strength within me that I had often overlooked. Gratitude isn't about settling for less. It's about accepting what you have in the present moment, finding peace with it, and recognizing that what you have is enough. This doesn't mean you stop striving for more. Ambition is important, but the secret lies in balancing your drive for more with a deep appreciation for the moment you are in right now. Imagine this. You're on the edge of an important decision. You've worked tirelessly to get to this point, and your mind is racing with doubt and worry. Your thoughts are consumed by what's missing. The next step, the next opportunity, the next victory. But stop right there. Pause. Look at the journey you've already traveled. The lessons you've learned, the relationships you've built, and the progress you've made. That's where your true power lies. Gratitude is your weapon to silence the chaos in your mind, allowing you to step forward with clarity and purpose. This principle will transform how you approach every challenge. It'll help you face adversity with a mindset of abundance, not scarcity. When you're grateful for what you have, setbacks become temporary and failures become lessons. You become a force of resilience, incapable of being brought down by the external forces around you. Instead, you rise above them, grounded in the unshakable strength that gratitude provides. The power of gratitude doesn't just stop at internal peace. It radiates outward, impacting those around you. When you embrace gratitude, you become magnetic. People are drawn to your positive energy and your ability to find joy in the simple things. You become a source of inspiration, leading by example and encouraging others to see the value in their own lives. So here's the truth. The more you practice gratitude, the more you create a life full of richness. A life where you stop chasing and start living. A life where you realize that everything you need is already inside you and within arm's reach. It's time to let go of the desperation for more and embrace what's already yours. Gratitude will shift your perspective, transform your experience, and make you an unstoppable force on your path to greatness. Till the next time, stay strong and live wisely.